Welcome to Storytime with Shane. Today we're going to read something so terrifying, so scary, so spooky, that everyone watching will get goosebumps. Because we are about to read Goosebumps by R.L. Stine. Funny story, actually, when I was young in elementary school, I hated reading when I was a little kid. And there was one time, though, randomly, where I was in class and I had some extra time and I went back to the bookshelf at the back of the class. And there was a Goosebumps book, and it wasn't this specific one, but it was one very similar. And I hated reading so much that I refused to, take the book and, keep it in my desk. I would take it and I would read a little bit, and then I would go and put it back in the bookshelf when I was done, even though I wasn't done with the book. And so every day when I had extra time, I would go back to the bookcase, I would grab the book and I would turn to where I was, and I would keep going. And it was one of these choose your own adventures. And I died an embarrassing amount in it. So hopefully today, with your help, we will survive this story. Thank you all for being here. Sit back, enjoy, and remember, this is Choose Your Own Adventure, and you, watching, will be making the choices, and I will just be reading. So, listen carefully and choose wisely. Let us begin. Are you ready to choose? That's the first question. If you say no, this is going to be very awkward. Okay, good. 92% said yes. 8% of you, what's going on there? Are you're too scared to choose? No. Sorry to those 9%. You're going to have to choose 8%. 9%. Whatever. 91% are in favor of moving forward. Let's begin. Escape from the carnival of horrors. Beware. Do not read this book from beginning to end. Welcome to the carnival of horrors. This is no ordinary carnival. Here you'll find awesome rides, exciting games of chance, and the weirdest freak show ever. Do you dare to enter? Are you brave enough to risk the supersonic space coaster? Can you make it through the house of horrors alive? This scary adventure is all about you. You decide what will happen, and you decide how terrifying the scares will be. Start on page 1, then follow the instructions at the bottom of each page. You make the choices. If you make the right choices, you'll escape from the spine-tingling carnival of horrors in time. If you make the wrong choice, beware. So take a long, deep breath, cross your fingers, and turn to page 1 to give yourself goosebumps. And listen along to give yourself ASMR. What do you want to do? I don't know, Patty. What do you want to do? Not fair, Brad. I asked you first. Patty and Brad, your two best friends, arguing, as usual. It's the last week of August, and Patty and Brad haven't stopped fighting since your summer vacation started. Patty likes being bossy. You don't mind, though. It's no big deal. It's hard to win a fight with her anyway. You don't know why Brad even tries. You guess it's because he doesn't want to look like a wimp in front of a girl. There's nothing to do. I guess I'll just go home, Brad says. He shoves his hands in his pockets, then his shoulders slump and he sort of shrivels up. You guess Brad is kind of a wimp, even if he is your best friend. You're so boring, Brad, Patty complains. Whenever Patty complains, her freckles really pop out. Now there are about 1 million of them spread across her face. Hey, I know what we should do, Patty suddenly bursts out. Let's bike over to Bennett's Field and watch them set up the carnival. I don't know, you answer. It's getting dark and Mom said I have to be in by 9. It's only a quick bike ride, Brad says. Are you some kind of wimp? It's the 3rd time wimp has been used in less than a page. Brad calling you a wimp? You can't believe it. Okay, you agree. But if it's as bad as last year, there won't be much to see. Don't you remember the main attraction, you remind them? The ride they called Terror Track? It turned out to be a baby choo-choo train that circled around and around and around. It doesn't matter what you say. Patty's made up her mind. You're going to ride over to the carnival. A hot, humid breeze blows in your face as you pedal along. Patty's in the lead, no surprise, and Brad's puffing behind you. It's dark by the time you reach Bennett's Field. You and your friends drop your bikes in the grass and race across the moonlit field, toward the huge wooden fence that surrounds the carnival. Let's see. As you reach the carnival entrance, you hear music coming from inside. Not the usual corny organ stuff they always play, but some really strange music. It sounds familiar and totally new at the same time. Brad stretches his neck to try to peer over the fence, but no luck, the fence is way too high. Patty jiggles the padlock on the gate. It's sealed shut. I guess we'll have to wait until tomorrow night when the carnival opens, Brad says. No way, Patty says. Let's climb the fence, now. Are you crazy, Brad says. We'll get caught. Come on, there's probably no one in there, Patty replies. Your friends turn to you to cast the deciding vote. You glance at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. If you're going to get home in time, you should start back now. What are you going to do? Are you going to decide to go home? Or will you climb the fence to get inside? Wow. That decision was easy. You guys are risk takers. I like it. Let's do it, you say to your friends. Let's climb the fence. Patty is halfway up before you finish speaking. You let Brad go next. You're last. It's a hard climb up. There's really no place on the fence to get a good grip, but you make it to the top, swing your legs over, and tumble down. You land on the grass. You're inside. You and your friends gaze around. It's pretty dark. The only light comes from torches. At first, the carnival looks the same as it always does. Dinky rides, hot dog wagons. Then the lights start to flicker on in every corner of the field. The rides start to move. It's as if the whole place is magically coming to life. Hey, look at that giant roller coaster, you exclaim, pointing up ahead. They never had a roller coaster before. Yeah, Brad agrees, and the whole place is a lot bigger than last year. This is awesome, Patty says as she sprints towards the rides. You and Brad take off after Patty. You all stop in front of the roller coaster. Wow, Patty says as she gazes up at it. It's like a rocket to outer space. Beyond the roller coaster, you spy a castle surrounded by a moat and a spooky-looking haunted house sitting high atop a hill. These are the coolest rides I've ever seen, you say. They still have that dumb choo-choo train over there, you point out, but we could ride this stuff all night and never go near it. Patty grabs your arm and tugs you over to the other side of the carnival, to the midway. Brad races after you. Hey, where are all those dinky booths? Where are all those dinky wooden booths from last year? You ask as you gawk at the amazing games of chance. They're gone, and in their place are giant video games and huge spinning wheels studded with hundreds of blinking colored lights. Get a load of that, Brad suddenly cries out. You and Patty spin around. You can't believe what you see. Wait, hold on. Be more amazed on page 87. I don't think we need to do that. You wander over to the Wheel of Chance and immediately notice two strange things. First, you read the sign on the booth that says, Wheel of No Chance. Then you hear the barker's voice calling, Step right up! But there's no one there. No one but a green and yellow parrot. Excuse me, you say, hoping someone will answer. Is this game open? No, I'm standing by this wheel for my health, the parrot cracks. Now, do you want to spin or what? The parrot is obviously annoyed. Mammals, he mutters. Can't live with them, can't live without them. You steal a glance around. Maybe you should skip this game. But Big Al sneaks up behind you. Spin, he says. You must earn enough points to win. But how will I know if I have enough points, you ask? Spin, it's his final word. Here's how to spin. Close your eyes and twirl your finger over the wheel on this page. Then let your finger land somewhere on the wheel. Look at the number you've landed on and go to that next page. You're gonna have to trust me on this one. Feeling lucky, feeling lucky. Here. Double or nothing, 19. Let's see, going to page 19. Okay. You land on number 19. Double or nothing, two voices behind you echo. You whirl around and gasp. It's a man with 2 heads. Congratulations, you win 10 points, one head says to you. Quit while you're ahead. Ahead? Get it? Ahead? The other head adds, laughing hysterically. Shut up, head number 1 says. You shut up, head number 2 shoots back. 10 points is nothing. You better spin again, and this time it's double or nothing. You get double the points wherever you land. Which head should you listen to? Should we listen to head number 1 or head number 2? Head number 2 is saying 10 points is nothing. You should better spin again. Do we have enough points? So there's 3 choices, actually. If you think you don't have enough points, go back to page 9 and spin again. If you think you have enough points and you haven't played Guess Your Weight, go to page 72. If you have played Guess Your Weight, go to page 17. So we're going to page 72 or page 9. It's looking like we don't have enough points. Wow. You guys are greedy. Back to page 9. All right. Here we go. Free spin, 49. Okay.
And you get double the points.
We get so many points, you guys. Guys, we're friggin' rich. 5, 4. Wait, no, hold on. Wrong one. 49, right? Yeah. Okay. The wheel stops on free spin. You are ready to try again, but the dumb parrot flies over and latches onto your shoulder. Ouch, that hurts, you cry. Free spin, free spin. You're going on a free spin. Turn me loose, you command. When you swivel your head to glare at the bird, a scream freezes in your throat. The parrot has ballooned into an enormous vulture. His black, beady eyes pierce right through you. He digs his razor-sharp claws deeper into your shoulder. Run! Your every survival instinct shouts, but the bird of prey has other ideas. One of them is dinner, with you as the main course. The big bird snatches you by the back of your shirt as if you were a rag doll, kicking and screaming and using every defensive move you learned from karate class. You struggle for your life, but it's no use. With a jerk, he lifts you off the ground, and suddenly you have a frightening view of the carnival from 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet up. Fly on to page 50. Thump, thump, thump. Your heart bangs loudly inside your chest. What kind of carnival is this, you wonder, where a free spin is more like a death sentence? You circle a green clump of treetops. You're really dizzy now. You want to close your eyes, but you know it's not a good idea, since you're flying 50 feet high without a placed plane or a parachute. As you circle closer to the treetops, you are met with a horrifying view. 5 baby vultures in a nest. 5 very hungry babies with mouths gaping wide open. The end is near. You are going to wind up as a take-home dinner, unless you can somehow force the vulture to let you go. Frantically, you reach into your pockets. If you've won a chocolate bar at one of the games of chance, go to page 76. If you haven't, go to page 115. Guys, we haven't won any chocolate.
I think we missed a couple pages.
What do you mean?
I think, like, you skipped a page towards the beginning.
Did I? I don't...
Yeah, did you meet an old man who was like, I want you to try out all these rides?
No. I kept just going through the pages.
Go to page,
Well, let's at least finish this thing really quick. There's nothing in your pocket but lint. Help! Save me, you cry. The vulture swoops down and drops you in the nest. The baby vultures approach, mouths open, ready to peck you to death. But good news, they don't eat you. You fall out of the nest instead. Please, close the book fast, for the next sound you hear will be your body hitting the ground with an awesome thud. Thud! Not fast enough. Okay, don't go to pieces. Pull yourself together and prepare to visit the Carnival of Horrors again, the next time you're brave enough to open this book. Alright, so we died. So I died. But let's give this another go. Let's do this better this time. Okay, so how did I mess up? To take a closer... Okay. You and your friends drop your bikes in the grass and race across the moonlit field toward the huge wooden fence that surrounds the carnival. As you reach the carnival... Okay. So then we fence, we get inside. Race over there. Patty. Okay. Be more amazed, page 87. Okay.
That's one you skipped.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was supposed to be clicking these things or not. Okay. let's go back. Let's turn back time here a little bit. You and Brad take off after Patty. You all stop in front of the roller coaster. Wow, Patty says as she gazes up at it. It's like a rocket to outer space. Beyond the roller coaster, you spy a castle surrounded by a moat and a spooky-looking haunted house sitting atop a hill. These are the coolest rides I've ever seen, you say. They still have that dumb choo-choo train over there, you point out. But we could ride this stuff all night and never go near it. Patty grabs your arm and tugs you over to the other side of the carnival, to the midway. Brad races after you. Hey, where are all those dinky wooden booths from last year, you ask as you gawk at the amazing game of chance. They're gone, and in their place are giant video games and huge spinning wheels studded with hundreds of blinking colored lights. Get a load of that, Brad suddenly cries out. You and Patty spin around. You can't believe what you see. You're staring at a sign that reads, World's Freakiest Freak Show. The three of you gape at the pictures. There's a three-headed man with the ugliest collection of faces you've ever seen. And the snake lady, a young blonde girl with a beautiful face and the body of a slithering snake. This is, you start to say, but you don't finish, because a large hand has come down on your shoulder hard. You slowly turn and gaze up at a huge man with shoulders wider than a refrigerator. He has coal black eyes with a thick mustache to match. He looks strong enough and mean enough to pitch you over the fence with one hand. What are you doing? His deep voice booms. You're not allowed in here, he says, pointing directly at you. We're sorry, you say, hoping you appear sorry and not just scared. We wanted to look around, that's all, but we'll leave right now. His eyes stare into yours. He clamps both hands down on your shoulders and says, You're not going anywhere. Uh-oh, quick, better turn to page 4. What do you mean, Brad asks, trembling all over. I just had an idea, a great idea, the man replies. I want you kids to stay and try out the rides before the grand opening tomorrow. Patty's eyes open wide. Cool, she says. Are you sure it's all right with the owner, you ask? I'm Big Al, the manager, and what I say around here goes. Big Al digs around in his checkered jacket and pulls out 3 maps. He hands one to each of you. Study them carefully, he says. If you have any questions, ask them now. Your eyes fall upon the map. You have a question, but when you gaze up, Big Al is gone. He's vanished. A whole carnival to ourselves? Patty exclaims. Where should we start? You stare down at your map once again. You notice that the carnival is split in half. On one side are the rides, tons of them. On the other side is the midway, packed with games of chance and the freak show. What will you try first? To go on the rides, turn to page 34. To check out the midway, turn to page 77. What will you do? The rides sound kind of cool. But the midway, what could be there? Right now it seems like the rides are in favor. But maybe some people will think about the midway and start to vote for that. Doesn't seem likely, though. You're all thrill seekers. I can see that. Okay. We're going on the rides. I'm calling it. Let's go on the rides first, you say. That roller coaster looked awesome. Okay, Patty agrees. Over this way, she yells as she charges over to it. When you reach the rides, you can only stare in amazement. These are the most fantastic rides you've ever seen. The towering roller coaster, the soaring speedboats, the twisty slides. Everyone is in motion, whizzing, whirling, doing loop-de-loops. I always said loop-de-loops as a kid. It's loop-the-loops. I feel like an idiot. And they're all empty, no riders, no people in line. Cool, Patty exclaims. We have the whole place to ourselves. Brad's face turns a little green as his gaze swings from the supersonic space coaster to the Doom slide. Do you think they have rides that don't go upside down, he asks. Come on, let's check out the coaster, Patty calls to you and Brad. Then they run off to its starting gate. You stop and crane your neck to gaze up at the coaster's first hill, and you gasp. Quick, go to page 47. The tracks stretch up so high that they seem to touch the clouds. Your gaze follows one of the cars speeding around a sharp curve. It looks like the space shuttle. You notice that it has a safety harness that locks over your body. You've seen those before. They keep you in when the ride turns upside down. You didn't want to admit it before, but like Brad, riding upside down is not your favorite thing. Still, the coaster does look amazing. One part enters a tunnel, and you can see that the cars go fast, really fast. You're just about to walk through the space coaster gate when you hear spooky organ music coming from behind you. You turn around. Looming in the distance is a dark and creepy haunted house. You gaze down at your map. It's called the House of Horrors. You love haunted houses, and this one looks really scary. Now you're not sure what to do. You won't have time for everything. The coaster or the haunted house? Decide now. If you decide to join Patty and Brad on the space coaster, get on board on page 26. If you want to go on the House of Horrors alone, go to page 64. Huh? What will you do? Ooh, it's pretty close. But you seem to be going for House of Horrors. Alone. You're just gonna leave Brad and Patty like that? All right. House of Horrors, then. The House of Horrors. You have to see it. You just have to. I'll catch up with you guys later, you call to Patty and Brad. I'm going to check out the haunted house. You glance down at your map for directions. The rickety wooden bridge over to your left appears to lead straight there. As you start across the bridge, the wooden planks creak under your feet. Then the bridge begins to sway. You look down, way down. The bridge spans a deep, rocky gorge. Gulping, you grab the handrail. You move slowly. A strong wind blows up from the canyon below. The bridge is swaying wildly now, tossing from side to side. A massive spear of lightning splits the sky. Thunder rumbles so loudly you jump and lose your balance. Help! You scream as you tumble right over the side and plunge towards the jagged rocks below. How can you save yourself? Make a grab for the side of the bridge, turn to page 46. Flap your arms and try to fly, turn to page 30. This is where we decide if we are smart or very stupid. What will you pick? So far, grabbing the bridge is in the lead, but it is falling fast. Okay, 26% want us to try to fly. Okay, good. We're gonna grab for the side of the bridge. Page 46. You're falling. Everything passes as if you're dropping in slow motion. Is this the end? Yes. I guess flapping our wings would have worked. Well, okay. Let's go back. What page was I on? Let's see. Would flapping your arms actually save you? I want to know. Well, I can't believe we just died like that. That's so fucking stupid. That's really, really dumb. How do I get back to it? What page was I on?
I'm trying to find it. No.
56.
56. Okay. No, I wasn't on 56. I was on 46 was where we died. But
That's the chapter. That's not the page number.
64. Great. Okay. We're going to wind back time. We're going to see if flapping our arms would have saved us. All right. Now we're going to flap our arms. Is this cool that I'm doing it like this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. I just want to make sure we're all cool with me. We have a time machine in our pocket. You're falling. You can't think of anything else to do, so you start flapping your arms like a bird. At that moment, a huge gust of air shoots up from under you and blows you back onto the bridge. Why didn't you guys think about that? You guys, I can't believe you guys didn't vote for flapping your arms like a bird. That's obviously what I wanted to do. Breathing hard, you run the rest of the way across the rickety span. When you reach the safety of the other side, you glance back and gasp. The bridge and the midway beyond it have vanished. Only a black void remains. Wow, awesome special effects, you cry out loud. But was your fall part of the special effects too? It didn't feel like it. You spin around to face the House of Horrors. Up close, it appears really, really creepy. Cobwebs drip down from its roof, and an eerie yellow light glows inside. Cool! Next to the house, you spot a sign that reads, Boat Trip to Nowhere. There are amazing speedboats that you can drive yourself. Which should you try first? Want to try the boat trip to nowhere? Or are you ready for the House of Horrors? You decide. To try the boat trip to nowhere, go to page 88. For the House of Horrors, page 66. Boat or house? Ooh, this is neck and neck. Remember, a boat is on water, which makes you very vulnerable. But a house of horrors has horrors inside, and I believe those can kill you. This is one of the hardest choices I've ever had to make in my life.
Oh my god.
It's probably the most difficult choice ever since I was at the grocery store and had to pick between Lucky Charms and Reese's Puffs. Except this one has far greater consequences. We are at 50-50 right now. Wow, that's pretty incredible. Out of 900 votes, perfectly split, house or boat. We're gonna need it. Whichever one gets to 51% first, I don't care if it goes back down, I'm picking that one. But something has to go to 51%. Are we gonna get to 1,000 votes and be at perfectly 50-50? That is some crazy, crazy shit. Wow.
If I end it, it'll show the exact number of votes.
Okay.
Should I do that?
I want to see it hit 1,000.
Let's go past 1,000. Wow, we're
Whoa.
1,000. Here, we'll keep getting votes. Keep getting votes. Get those votes in. How many viewers do we have in chat?
2,500 people.
Okay, we have 2,500 people watching. All right.
Got it. Vote.
Whoa, the boat. Boat has taken the lead, and I'm picking boat. All right. Boat time. You head toward the boat trip to nowhere. At the dock, you spot a stubby guy with long arms slouching against one of the mooring posts. Can you say that? In the strange light of the swamp, his skin shines with an oily green glow, and his ears and nose are as craggy as tree bark. Just roasting the shit out of this man. Step right up, he calls in a gravelly voice. Step right up, he calls in a gravelly voice. He pulls one of the motorboats over. It's red with silver racing stripe. You can do 15 knots in these babies, he says, but stay away from the tree stumps. You watch the little man's sharp green fingernails tearing the mooring rope apart. As soon as the boat is free, you jump in, step on the gas, and roar away from the dock. The wind blows hard against your face. You're flying over the water. This is totally cool. You head for a channel that you see up ahead. Too bad you didn't notice the sign reads, "To Booger Bog." Enter the bog, page 32. Your boat glides through the channel at high speed to Booger Bog. Water sprays up in your face, but soon you have to slow down. Trees have suddenly sprung up all around you. You're completely surrounded now by their towering trunks. In the dark light, their limbs take on the shape of gnarled arms with blackened, bony fingers at the ends. You stare hard at the tree trunks. Could it be? Are they reaching out for you? You slowly weave the boat through the twisted trunks and branches. They've grown so thick here that you can barely pilot your boat through them. The trees rustle as if they're whispering to each other. Their limbs begin to sway. As you glide carefully through the water, the leaves slap against your face. Slap, slap, slap. Your heart starts hammering away in your chest. This is really scary. Just how far is nowhere? You begin to wonder. Something swipes at your hair. What was that? Turn to page 105. It's a tree branch, grabbing at you, tugging at your hair. You can't break free. Its gnarly stubs dig in deeper as you struggle. Suddenly, you feel something wrap itself around your arms, then your legs closing in tighter. You gaze down and see them. Black, knobby tree limbs twisting around you, strangling you. You drop hold of the steering wheel and begin to claw at the branches, ripping them away, and then you peer up and see a terrifying sight. It's a huge tree, and you're headed straight for it. You grasp the steering wheel to regain control of the boat. The tree is just inches away. Are you going to crash? Turn to page 90. No! At the last minute, you wrench the steering wheel hard to the left. The side of your boat clears the tree with a sickening scrape. You breathe a sigh of relief, but it ends in a groan. A huge, sharp root below the water has just ripped into the bottom of your boat. You hear a tearing sound, then gurgling as the cockpit starts to fill with water. Now what? You mutter. Then through the mist you spot another boat, but it's some distance away. Hey, over here! You cry out. Did they hear you? You cry out again. Then you glance... Did they hear you? You cry out again. Then you glance behind you. More than half your boat is underwater, and you're going down fast. What should you do? Keep yelling for help, or try to swim for safety? Make your choice, quick! To decide to swim, to decide to wait to be rescued, go to page 100. If you decide to swim for it, page 56. Are we going to swim or are we going to continue to call for help? This is so freaking brutal right now. Whoa. People are in hardcore favor of swimming. If we die, I'm going to be pissed at you guys. I'm going to be mad. That's going to be a bummer. We've already died twice. If we die again, then, you know, that's how the saying goes. All right. Very, very quickly in favor of swimming. All right. Swimming. We're going to swim for it. You leap out of the boat. The putrid brown water splashes into your mouth. Gross. You swim a few strokes and suddenly find your knees scraping the bottom of the bog. The water here is less than a foot deep. Unbelievable. You are practically inches away from safety the entire time. Slogging through the brown foam, you wade to shore. Your clothes are dripping wet and smell like a sewer. Well, look at the bright side, you remind yourself. At least you didn't go down with your boat. But your troubles aren't over yet. You're standing in a dank, eerie forest that surrounds the lake. Creepy screeches echo through the night mist, and you're totally lost. The wind starts to blow. Shivering, you wrap your arms around your shoulders and wonder where your friends are and what they are doing. Then, pow! Something black and furry swoops down at you. You duck your head, but it comes at you again and again. A huge bat! Page 37. You cover your head with your hands and try to run into a thick grove of trees, but the bat circles in front of you and dives again. Stop it! Stop it, you scream. As you turn and race towards some low bushes, you remember the stories. The horrible stories about bats making nests in people's hair, and the only way to get them out was to shave your head. Those stories weren't true, were they? You spot a big stick in the wet dirt and scoop it up. The bat swoops down at you once more and whap, you hit it. The bat falls to the ground, and you see it's on a wire. It's a mechanical bat. All part of the ride, you think. You think about the boat ride. Boy, they really make things seem real at this carnival, you think. You feel much better when you gaze up ahead. There's a clearing. But when you see what's there, you scream. Turn to page 93. What a sight. You can hardly believe your eyes. You scream again. It's Patty and Brad. Hey guys, wait up, you yell. Turn to page 26 so you can get on the space coaster with them. Hey, wait up, you yell to Brad and Patty as you sprint through the space coaster gate. They both ignore you and charge straight ahead. You follow them into a narrow tunnel that leads to the boarding area. You gaze down at the floor, black rubber. It makes you walk with strange bounce. Every few feet there is a round porthole window. When you glance out one, you see astronauts planting flags on the moon. You peer at another. Now they're seated in their capsule. This is amazing, you think. The figures look real. Totally real. After a long climb, you and Patty and Brad finally arrive at the loading area. A sleek, bullet-shaped capsule whooshes up and stops right beside you. It has 3 sections. Brad climbs defiantly into the last section. You leap into the front. Patty's left with the middle section. And suddenly, you're trapped! Steel bars plunge down from above and drop across your lap and chest, pinning you in place. You can't move at all. Even your head is held by super strong headphones that clamp over your ears. A voice comes through them announcing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! You hear a huge bang. Smoke and fireworks fill the air as your car starts up the first big hill. Your head presses back against the seat as you climb higher and higher. That first hill is endless, but the view is awesome. From the top, you can see the midway, the haunted house, and a shadowy swamp. You can't believe how big the carnival is. Neat, Patty yells. There's, ah! Whatever she was going to say turns into a wild scream as the rocket plunges down the other side of the hill. The wind whips at your face. You are pressed back so hard you feel like a pancake. Everything passes in a fantastic blur. As your car shoots up to the top of the next hill, you're laughing and screaming at the same time. This is great, you think, but then you make a big mistake. Turn to page 39. You close your eyes. When you open them, your car lunges forward with a burst of speed, and you loop the loop. Your mouth drops open to scream, but no sound comes out. Now your car starts to plunge downward, like an elevator out of control. Your heart pounds in your chest. This is the fastest and best roller coaster you've ever been on. As you near the bottom, you slow down. You begin to catch your breath, and then you see what's up ahead. A huge black hole. A tunnel. As you shoot toward the open mouth of the tunnel, you begin to scream again. The door of the tunnel is about to close. Snap! The door comes crashing down. Behind your car, you breathe out a long sigh, but now you're in a tunnel so dark that you can't see a thing. Scary, but not nearly as scary as what happens next. What happens? Turn to page 94 to find out. The ride stops. Dead. You are sitting in the dark. Nothing is moving. Patty! Brad! You call. Silence. Why don't they answer? They have to be there. You try to twist around, but you're locked in your harness and clamped in your headset. Blinking in the dim light, your eyes dart to the left, then to the right. You spot dozens of empty space rockets lining the walls. They seem to come in sections, making longer and shorter space rockets. Your mind starts working feverishly. Did your section detach from Patty and Brad's section? Suddenly, the silence is shattered. Your seat lock grinds open, and you are released from your harness. You quickly spin around. Patty's and Brad's cars have disappeared. If this is all part of the ride, maybe you should hop out. But if the ride is broken, maybe you should wait for help. Do we wait for help? Or do we hop out of the car? You decide. What will we do? You guys want to hop out of the car? Really? That's what you really want to do? Okay. We're going to hop out of the car. If we die, I'm going to be so mad at you. Your pulse pounds in your ears as you carefully lift yourself out of the car. The tunnel is dark and musty and really creepy. Anything could be lurking in the shadows. This must be part of the ride, you reason. And the more you think about it, the more convinced you are. You're scared, but you have to admit, this is pretty cool. In the distance, you spot several red lights that seem to lead to other dimly lit tunnels. You cautiously head towards one of them. Overhead, something dark and slimy drips, splattering on the top of your head, stinging your forehead. As you desperately try to wipe the burning slime away, something grabs you by the knees. Ah! You look down. A pair of red-rimmed eyes meet yours. It's a dwarf with scraggly red hair and a toothless smile. "Want me to lead you out of here, kid?" he asks. You're about to follow the dwarf, but then you stop. Is he part of the ride? He looks really evil. What do? Do you follow the dwarf? Page 99. Decide not to follow the dwarf. Page 33. You guys are gonna follow the dwarf. I already know. It's gonna be like 90% follow the dwarf. Watch. Okay, 100% follow the dwarf. Sorry, I was off by 10%. Yeah, you guys want to follow this dwarf. Yep, that seems pretty clear. All right. Okay, great. We'll follow the dwarf. We're following the dwarf. Okay, get me out of here, you say to the dwarf. Did you help my friends too? The dwarf does not answer. He sprints off and you have to race to keep up with him. Through a confusing maze of twisting tunnels, you're sure glad you have a guide. The dwarf suddenly stops. That way, he says gruffly, pointing straight ahead. Before you can blink, he vanishes in a puff of smoke, and you're left standing in front of two doors. One red, one blue. The red one has a sign that reads danger. The blue one has a sign that reads big danger. Do you take the red pill or the blue pill? Red door or blue door?
This was a scene in It.
This is, yeah. Danger or big danger? Danger or big danger? All right, big danger. If we die, blue door. You open the blue door and peer through. You're staring down a long passageway. At least you think it's long. It's difficult to tell. It's pitch black. You don't know what to do. Maybe I should have picked the other door, you say to yourself. I'm getting out of here. But the blue door has locked behind you. Now you're sure you made the wrong choice, but there's nowhere to go but forward. Your knees begin to tremble as you inch your way down the dark hallway. The passage ends in a bright burst of light, and in front of you, a tall purple mountain rises hundreds of feet into the air. You breathe out a long sigh of relief. You're out of the dark. You study the mountain. It looks so real, but cut into its side, you spot a doorway. Above it, a brightly painted sign reads, Doom Slide. Will you be the one to slide forever? Turn to page 135. You open the door and climb to a steep ramp that curves around and around. It's cold and dark inside. Halfway up the ramp, you stop. There's another sign. Warning, you may be the one to slide to your doom. You continue up the ramp. You finally make it to the top, and you find yourself standing on a wide, dimly lit platform. A row of long, curving slides stretch out before you. The slides are numbered from 1 to 10. You think hard. The doom slide. You know you've heard about it before, but where? Where was it? And then you remember. It was in a Goosebumps book you read. One Day at Horrorland. Now you know you're in big trouble because you remember all about the doom slide from the book. You remember that if you pick the wrong slide, you'll spend the rest of your life sliding and sliding forever. Which number is the doom slide? Which one? If you remember which number slide is the doom slide, choose that well. If you can't remember, you'll have to leave it to luck. Pick a number between 1 and 10. Okay. Do we pick 1, 4, or 5? 2, 7, or 9? Or 3, 6, 8, or 10? Guys, this is so tense. Whoa. Okay. It's neck and neck. People are not in favor of 1, 4, or 5. We hate those numbers. 2, 7, and 9 are pulling in the lead. Okay. All right. It seems we have picked 2, 7, and 9. Here we go. You sit down on the slide and push off. The world tilts as you plunge down, 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 down. You're scared, but you can't help feeling that this is kind of cool. Sliding and swirling in the darkness, until you hear the screams, the eerie screams that follow you as you twist and turn. Your heart starts pounding wildly. Oh no, you must have picked the doom slide. You're going to slide forever. And then, bump. A chute opens up. You hit the ground hard. You tumble over and finally stop. You lie on the ground, panting. You're outside. You scramble to your feet and gaze around. You hear laughter. It seems to be coming from the bright pink building a few feet in front of you. You walk over to its big pink door and press your ear against it. Yes, the laughter is definitely coming from inside. To find out what's so funny, turn to page 117. You open the door and enter a room bursting with people who seem to be waiting for you. You think that's weird until you study them and realize something even stranger. They're all dressed up in old-fashioned costumes. Welcome to the Carnival of Horrors, a tall woman with a red parasol says, smiling. Nice of you to join us. The Carnival of Horrors. The words send shivers down your spine. The woman with the parasol whispers in your ear. Don't you want to know the secret of the Carnival of Horrors? You nod yes. The Carnival of Horrors comes alive in a different place and a different time each night. Tonight we're in your town. Tomorrow we could be in another country. But every place we stop, we invite kids like you to join us. Thanks for the invitation, you say, but I gotta go. I'm sorry, the lady chuckles. You can never escape from the Carnival of Horrors, she says solemnly. Unless what? Turn to page 106. Unless what, you scream. Tell me. You can escape the Carnival of Horrors if you leave before closing time. When is closing time, you shoot back. When the last ride stops, the lady whispers. At midnight. You glance at your watch. 11:40. 20 minutes. That's not so bad. But how do you get out of here? As if the lady can read your mind, she says, There's only one right way. Then all around you, the crowd begins to chant. Only one right way. Only one right way. They repeat it over and over again. What is it, you scream? Which way? It's useless. They're not going to tell you, but it's not midnight yet. There's still time to figure it out until the floor begins to tremble and the walls begin to shake. Earthquake! A wave of panic washes over you as the walls crumble around you. You throw your arms over your head and you close your eyes. Then silence. The shaking stops. When you open your eyes, the room and all the costume people have vanished, and you are outside in the rides area. But the biggest surprise of all is that you spot Patty and Brad. Boy, am I glad to see you, you say, racing over to them. Where have you guys been? Brad shakes his head. You wouldn't believe the rides we were on. We've got to get out of here before midnight, you say. Quickly, you tell your friends about the warning from the lady with the red parasol. No problem, Patty says. Look, I'm sure the exit is right over there past the ride called the Hall of the Mountain King. No, it's that way, near the sign that says Halloween Express, Brad insists. Which way do you think is the right way? Halloween Express or Hall of the Mountain King? You choose. Making this like a Mass Effect thing. It's like, Which should we pick? Okay. Halloween Express seems to be winning. Here we go. Halloween Express. We've got to get out of here. It's almost midnight, you say as you run toward the Halloween Express ride. Hey, maybe we should try one of these cars, Brad says, pointing to the red and orange cars that run on the track. The three of you crowd into a little car that's really meant for two. You jam your foot on the gas pedal and you're flying. All right, Brad cheers. We're on our way home. Hey, I wonder why they call this Halloween Express, he asks. You turn the wheel sharply to the left, and then you know why. Your Halloween Express car pulls up in front of a cottage, and the cottage door opens with a creak. You all jerk your heads up to peer at the door. You see a skeleton wearing an evil smile, and he lunges right for you. Trick or treat, he screeches. Then he stretches out his bony hands to snatch you. You pound on the gas pedal, and the car shoots forward, out of the skeleton's grasp. Your heart begins to race as the car speeds out of control. You tear through an eerie forest, speed past more cottages, but still, you don't see a way out. And then it comes into view, a service exit. All you have to do is stop the car, jump out, and scramble through the fence, and you'll be free. You check your watch. 5 minutes to midnight. Oh no, Patty screams. Turn left, don't stop. Turn left, turn to page 83. You squint hard at the road ahead of you, and you see why Patty wants you to turn. There they are, the people in the old-fashioned clothes, only they don't look the same. Some have green flesh, some are deathly white. Their rotting skin hangs from their bones, and they're all reaching out, reaching for you. Turn, turn, Patty yells. You spin the wheel sharply to the left to avoid them, but you can't dodge the ghostly creature that's rising above you. He's 10 feet tall, with arms so long that they scrape the ground. His mouth gapes open to reveal hundreds of blackened, rotting teeth. He swoops down at you. You turn the steering wheel hard to the right, too hard. It comes off in your hands. The steering wheel that goes flying off when you're driving. Jump, you cry. Jump and run, run! The three of you leap out of the moving car, but are you fast enough? That depends on how good your reflexes are. Try this test and find out. Throw a ball in the air. Try to clap 3 times before you catch it.
He's the fastest man alive.
The iPad just broke. No. Okay. That's got to be a huge bummer if you're sitting there reading a book by yourself and then you try to do that and you fail and you're just like. and the next page just says like, did you really fail that? Did you really fail that? Oh my God, look at you. The book tells you to look in a mirror. Look in a mirror, you loser. Okay, we did it. I did it. I did that so hard. Your reflexes are great. Your reflexes are great. You jumped out fast enough and escaped the ghost, that ghost, but you didn't see the other one behind the car waiting for you. Your heart hammers away in your chest as it circles you, around and around and around. It's all right, you tell yourself over and over. It's not real. This is just a ride in an amusement park. You're still telling yourself that as the ghost plucks you off your feet. His black lips part. He opens his mouth wider and wider until it's as wide as an entrance to a cave. Then he stuffs you inside. Instantly you feel lightheaded, then light all over. You peek down at your hands. You can see straight through them. You've been turned into a ghost. And as your senses fade, you hear a distant bell chime 12 times. Too bad. The Carnival of Horrors will be one of your favorite haunts. Forever. Wow, so I died because I was really good. Where was I last?
83.
Okay.
You're too fast.
I'm just simply too fast. Okay. So, I see this rewards being really bad at shit. Cool. Okay. Clearly R.L. Stein was banking on everyone failing this test. Okay. We're reversing time and I'm failing this. Ah. Okay. I couldn't do it. You're not fast enough to get away from the ghost, you loser. You're running now, but the ghost swoops down in front of you. You plow into him and pass right through him. The carnival people are swarming after you. They don't want you to leave the carnival. Hurry, you yell to your friends, only 3 minutes to midnight. You dash off in one direction, then another. The carnival people are approaching from every which way. They carry torches with flames that leap high in the air. You steal a glance at your watch. 11:58. Make a wish. We can't let them catch us, you scream. Let's hide. But where can you hide? Up ahead, you see a gigantic cannon. All three of you could fit easily in there. You also spot a baby ride, the baby choo-choo train. Maybe you could squeeze into that. Quick, pick one and hope for the best. Cannon or choo-choo? Which way do you snore? What were the choices? Honk choo, honk choo. Honk. Honk. Fucking love that. Uh-oh. Choo-choo is in the lead, but can Cannon catch up? I think Cannon's about to catch up. Holy shit. Oh my god. This has happened again. This is some crazy shit. Cannon is now in the lead, but let's go to over 1,000 votes. Oh, wow. This is epic. This is so freaking sick. Choo-choo seems to be pulling ahead here. I want Wolf Blitzer calling this. Okay. All right. It seems Choo-choo has won. You squeeze into the choo-choo and scrunch down. 11:59. Nice. Lights from the carnival people's torches sweep over you. Their foul smell fills your lungs. The blood pounds in your temples. You're sure they're going to find you, but you're trapped now. There's no way out. You hear someone shout in the distance, "Closing time!" And then you hear a bell start to chime. Midnight. 1, 2, 3. Brad counts the chimes. You want to strangle him. 4, 5. Suddenly, the kitty train starts to move. 6, 7, 8. You sit up, and what you see is the biggest shock of this whole horrible night. Turn to page 70. 9, 10. Brad, shut up! Look at this! You point to the letters on the front of the train car. You've been staring at them the entire time. Why didn't you notice them before? What about the letters? Patty says sharply. 11. Don't you see what they say? You shoot back. Right Way Railroad. Patty reads. So what? The chant of the merry-go-round people echo in your head. There's only one right way. There's only one right way. Could it be? 12! Now what? Turn to page 52. Just as the clock strikes 12, the train enters a tunnel. You hold your breath, wondering what you'll see when you reach the other end. Chug, chug, chug. The choo-choo slowly pulls out of the tunnel, and you are surrounded by carnival workers everywhere. Chug to page 24. Carnival workers. The carnival workers who set up the same rinky-dinky carnival you go to every summer. You can't believe your eyes. You must be seeing things. Patty tries to say something smart, but the only thing she manages is, huh? Hey kids, a worker yells at you. Get away from that ride. The carnival doesn't start till tomorrow night. You gaze around and wonder at the faded games, the baby rides, the tacky food stands. For the first time in your life, it all looks great. We'll be there, you shout as you head for your bikes. This is the greatest carnival I've ever seen. The end.
We did it.
And then you freaking die.
You just read the end of Stand By Me where they all grow up.
And then they all grow up. And, yeah. Wow.
3 deaths?
We died 3 times. Died 3 times. Was it a total of 3? I thought it was 4.
It was 3.
Vulture, Bridge, turned into a ghost. Yeah, 3 times. Well, wow. Fantastic. That's pretty sick. No one told me. Well,
You clapped.
oh,
As a friend's name.
oh. Nice. That's a good. That's very good.
You want to talk about the book a little bit?
You know, I remember reading one of these when I was younger, and it feeling a lot scarier. This felt a lot sillier. I love how much wimp was used in the beginning. I think there could have been a little more tension buildup. It felt things were happening very fast. Patty and Brad were not freaking out nearly enough. Like, Patty and Brad were way too chill for how friggin' messed up this whole situation was. But nonetheless, very good. I'm still a little mad about the flapping the arms thing, because because you start, the flapping your arms didn't save you. There happened to be a gust of wind. There would have been a gust of wind either way. That should have been one where you're saved either way. I think that would have been cool if it's one of those, if one of them, the choice didn't actually matter. Yeah, and dinky was used a lot too. I have not heard that word in a long time, but man, does R.L. Stine love to use that word. What happened to the dwarf? He vanished in a puff of smoke. Just fully gone. We'll never...
We also didn't see the crocodile from the cover.
There's the crocodile. I'm sure he comes up at some point. I wonder what we missed. I'm just gonna scroll through and just see.
Yeah, do you want to go back and make some different decisions?
We could go back and make different decisions.
We never got the chocolate bar.
Yeah, we never even got the chocolate bar. Do we want to like actually read through, or just we want to just see what things can happen?
We can like speed through it. Just be like, okay, like
What
this
happens
is.
if you go home?
Yeah. What happens if you go home?
Okay, let's see if we. What happens if we just literally leave? Hold on. Where was that? Oh, hold on. If you decide to go home, turn to page 10. You've decided not to sneak into the carnival? You're going home instead? Well, it's a good thing Patty usually makes all the decisions. Otherwise, you'd never have any fun, and this book would be over before it began. Go ahead, take a deep breath, then go climb the fence. You're not scared, are you? Holy crap. They just, R.L. Stine was like, no. I think it would have been so, what if, oh my God, it would have been so fucking funny if you go home and then the rest of it is like a fictional novel, like it's like a drama about your life, and you go back to school and like it's your whole story.
Turn on the news and your friends are dead.
Terrible news today. Patty and Brad, your best friends, were found dead. Whoa, are you talking directly to me? Yes, I'm talking directly to you. Wake up. You're in the ride. And then you wake up and you're in the House of Horrors. Turn back to page 6. So you have to choose that. You go there. To check out the midway, go to page 77. Let's go and check out the midway. Alternative ending, oh no, your foot got stuck in a toilet. Oh no, my foot got stuck in a toilet. Oh no, I accidentally flushed it. Ah! Oh no, I'm a piece of shit. Okay, let's go to the midway. Let's head for the midway and play some games, you say. You, Patty, and Brad jog down a wide avenue. Tents of every color line the street. Carnival music blares from the loudspeakers. You spot a green neon sign flashing above a yellow striped tent. The sign reads, Madame Zeno, fortune teller. Excellent, you exclaim. I'm going in. You tell your friends you'll catch up with them in a minute. You lift the tent flap. Inside, one small candle flickers in the dark. You hear a low voice call out, Enter my chamber. This is Madame Zeno. Sitting in the shadows, she wears a long red dress dotted in the brightly colored gems. They shimmer in the candlelight. Her black hair tumbles to her shoulders as she bends over a large crystal ball. Welcome, she whispers. Then she reaches out and gently lifts your hand. Let me tell you your fortune. Let me tell you your future. To find your future, go to page 78. Madame Zeno studies your hand closely. She traces the lines in your hand with her soft fingers. I see horror in your future. In your immediate future, she warns. What kind of horror, you stammer? What do you mean? Madame Zeno releases your hand. She picks up a strange deck of cards. She spreads them out on the table. You notice the cards have pictures. A headless man, a bloody sword, a large evil eye. She gathers up all the cards and flips the deck over. Then she deals out a red card and a blue card. Turn one over, she commands. Learn your fate. Pick red or pick blue. Wow, a lot of red and blue. Could have picked other colors. Green and purple. Orange and pink. You know, other colors exist, R.L. Stine. You loser. Okay. Wow. I think you guys are purposefully splitting these polls because you think it's funny. And honestly, it is. I'm gonna be honest, it's funny. Red is seeming to be in the lead. We're gonna go with red. You reach out slowly and touch the red card. To your amazement, a 3D heart magically appears and rises from the flat surface. Then it starts to beat. Thudump, thudump. It must be some fancy optical illusion. You lean closer to figure out the trick. Yow! You screech and jerk back to avoid the warm red liquid that nearly squirts into your eye. Is it blood? It looks like blood. Wow, cool effect, you say. How did you do that? Turn over the card, Madame Zeno orders. Do it now! Madame Zeno really gets into her act. Doesn't she know this is just a game, you think? But you do as you're told. Big deal. No weird pictures, no hidden fortunes. All you see are the numbers. 1, 3, 2, shimmering in gold script against a midnight background. What does it mean, you ask? You will know when the time is right, the fortune teller whispers. Her voice is so low you can barely hear her. He could save your life. What? He saved your life. I don't. He can save your life. Okay, now you're sounding like Adam Sandler. Oh, Scooby-Doo. Oh, This is so weird. What does she mean? Turn to page 41 to find out. What do you mean the magic number could save my life, you ask Madame Zeno. But the fortune teller doesn't answer. She stares off into space. She seems to have fallen into a deep trance. You don't really believe her. These fortune tellers are all fakes, but you memorize the numbers anyway. 132, 132. I picked red instead of blue. You chant to help you remember. 132, 132. I picked red instead of blue. Madame Zeno puts the card back in the deck. She closes her eyes and waves you away with her jeweled hand. You guess the fortune telling is over, so you leave the tent to search for Patty and Brad. You squint under the bright lights of the midway, scanning all the game booths, but you can't find them. You're trying to figure out which way to go when you spot Big Al coming towards you. He's not alone. He's leading a large group of people. As they come closer, you hear that they are chanting something. What is it? Play or pay, play or pay. What does this mean? Hi, you say to Big Al. Who are all those people? He doesn't really answer your question. Welcome to the Carnival of Horrors, he says. You must play or pay. We have many games in our midway. You must play too. He practically spits the words must out. If you succeed, you can win prizes. But if you lose, you pay with your life. Boy, he's really laying it on thick, you think. But it's a pretty cool gimmick. Okay, I'll play a game. Then I've got to go home. No one goes home, Big Al says, until they play. You must play 2 games and survive. Okay, you mutter to yourself. You glance around the midway at the 2 closest games. Guess Your Weight on Mars and the Wheel of Chance. You have to pick one to start, and you'll never get out of here. Okay, we have done the Wheel of Chance, so there's Guess Your Weight on Mars. I think we should do Guess Your Weight on Mars, and I feel like everyone's gonna vote that. When does Augustus show up to give you Carnival Yelp review? You should hug the ghosts. I bet they miss hugs. I'll keep that in mind.
Go through them.
You do go through them. We went through a ghost earlier, so you cannot hug the ghosts. You can give them words of affirmation, though, maybe. Okay. You step up to Guess Your Weight on Mars booth. A woman in a spacesuit motions you inside a gate. You pass through and find yourself in the middle of a courtyard that looks just like a miniature launching site, complete with its own rocket. Security check, the lady says as she presses your hand onto a fake scanner. So how does this game work, you ask? I'll guess how much you weigh on Mars, she explains. Then you'll enter the planet simulation chamber and stand on the scale. If I'm stumped by more than 1 pound up or down, you win a giant candy bar. What if you guess right? The space lady doesn't say anything at first. She just smiles, a nasty smile. Then she answers, you lose, is all she says. The space lady slowly circles you as she sizes you up from head to toe. I think you weigh 38 pounds. 38 pounds? Boy, are you wrong. I'm never wrong, she says, smirking. She snaps her fingers and 2 enormous guards appear. They each take one of your arms and drag you out of the courtyard. I don't weigh 38 pounds, you yell. But then you remember, it isn't your weight on Earth that matters. It's your weight on Mars. Do you weigh 38 pounds on Mars? You'd better find out quickly, because something tells you that what Big Al said about having to survive might be true. You've got to figure out what you weigh on Mars fast, but how? You're about to give up when you notice a flashing sign. It reads, the gravity on Mars is almost 40% of what it is on Earth. Okay, now you can figure it out. Multiply your real Earth weight by 4. Now drop off the last digit. For example, if you weigh 90 pounds, 90 times 4 equals 360. Dropping off the last digit, you get 36 for your weight on Mars. If you don't want to do the math, you can leave it to luck. Just guess. Okay, wow. So this book was really like, how much do you weigh, kid? Like, that's crazy. Wow. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna round up, because there's, I mean, I'm gonna weigh more than that, because I weigh about 180. So 180 times 4 is 720.
Yeah.
Okay. 72. Okay. So I'm literally double this. Wow. Kind of cool. Oh, I guess I could have just used what they had written down, that 90 pounds dropping off the last digit, you get 36, so I would know that 180 is double that. I did a lot of work, but I hope you're all impressed by my math abilities. Okay. If you think your Mars weight is 37 to 39, go to page 53. Buddy, it's a little bit more than that. Okay. Wait, hold on. If you think your Mars weight is 37 to 39, if you think your Mars weight is less than 37 or more than 39, go to page 22. Okay. You're pretty sure that the space lady guessed wrong. Now all you have to do is step on the scale to prove it. The two goons shove you inside the planet simulation chamber. It's a long, narrow tube, and it's really stuffy inside. You can barely breathe. You step up on the scale, you check the readout. Boy, oh boy, the space lady is wrong. You jump up and down. I won! I won! Back outside, you collect your prize. It's a huge chocolate bar. You take a big bite out of it and stuff the rest in your pocket. You gaze around. The coast is clear. Maybe you can find Patty and Brad to get out of there. You walk a few steps forward, but a heavy hand clamps down on your shoulder from behind. It's Big Al. It's time to play another game, he says, grinning. If you have not tried the Wheel of Chance, go to page 8. If you've already played the Wheel of Chance, go to page 17. Should we go to page 17 then?
Let's go to 8, because in this playthrough we haven't played it.
All right, we'll do the Wheel of Chance again. All right. You wander over to the Wheel of Chance and immediately notice two strange things. First, you read the sign on the booth that says Wheel of No Chance. Okay, then there's a parrot there. Spin, he says. You must earn enough points to win. But how will I know if I have enough points, you ask? Spin is his final word. Okay, here's how to spin. All right. I'm just going to pick one. Why not? 38. Okay. Let's go to 38. Okay, hold on. Oh, shit. Okay, no. Okay. 38. Got a winner, the parrot squawks. You've won 25 points, plus anything you want in the prize room. Step this way. Eagerly, you follow the bird into a storeroom behind the booth. It's packed with the weirdest assortment of junk you've ever seen. Dusty old catalogs, stuffed rats, a collection of axes, and portraits of headless people holding their own heads. So pick something, it's getting late, the parrot says. Not this garbage, you think. Then you spot a shelf of small cans with bright labels. Play and Glow, Clay Slime, and Monster Blood. And Monster Energy Drink. Monster Blood? Hey, isn't that the magic stuff you read about in Goosebumps? I'll take the Monster Blood, you decide. Excellent choice, the parrot remarks. As you quickly leave the room with your prize, you wonder, is 25 points enough? What do you do next? If you want to spin again for more points, go to page 9. If you haven't played Guess Your Weight, if you have played Guess Your Weight on Mars, go to page 17. All right, let's go to page 17. You take a few steps along the midway, hoping you've won enough prizes and points. You notice the crowd of people surrounding Big Al. They're still chanting, "Pay or play, pay or play." You break through the crowd and grab Big Al's arm. "Hey, do you know where my friends are?" "Certainly," Big Al says, pointing up ahead. "They're right over there." "Patty, Brad," you shout as you rush up to them. "Come on, we've got to go. This carnival is evil." But before they can say a word, Big Al's voice booms from behind you. "Not before the final challenge." The final challenge begins on page 84. Big Al shoves you and your friends into a huge red tent. It seems to be set up for some kind of show. Red carpeted steps lead up to a platform which sits under a golden arch. The arch twinkles with 1,000 colored lights that spell out Final Challenge. Trumpets blast as people flood into the viewing area. As they march in, they clap their hands and yell, "Final! Final!" Big Al leads you up the carpeted steps. You are standing on the platform now, in front of a shimmering curtain that hangs down from the arch. The crowd begins to chant, "Sudden death! Sudden death!" "What do you think that means?" Patty asks. "I don't know, Patty. What the fuck do you think?" You're gonna find out on page 123. "The final challenge," Big Al announces, and the crowd goes wild. Then he turns to you and says, "Remember, the fun games are over. Now you are playing for your life." You go first. You go first, Big Al says to you. You see Brad and Patty taken off to the side by a huge man in a black hood. Two red-haired dwarves in clown costumes scurry up the steps. To your surprise, they fit you with new high-top sneakers. Sneakers with metal studs running on the back. This is going to be some kind of race, you think, but then you change your mind when they snap a heavy metal helmet on your head. The crowd's cheer grow louder. Big Al throws a switch. The curtain behind you parts and whammo! The wall behind the curtain turns into a super magnet. You go zinging to the wall like a dart to a bullseye. Seconds later, your head and the back of your feet slam into the wall. You're hanging upside down in the middle of a gigantic magnetic wheel. "Are you ready for the final challenge?" Big Al asks. "Of course not," you say. "Let me down." "Oh, we'll let you down, but not until you face the final challenge. One spin will decide your fate. If you win, you go. If you lose, you stay here forever." What will be your fate? Big Al approaches the wheel. Brad and Patty are holding on to each other. Your heart is pounding. Your hands are sweating. This is it. One spin. He gives the wheel. With you on it, a hard turn. Where will it stop? Guess. On page 44? On page 74? Or on page 124? Where will it stop? Where will it stop? Huh? This is so freaking scary. Will you open the red door, or will you widowy do the gwitty right now? Which will you do? Will you do the gwitty? Okay. Page 74. Oh, yeah, page 74. Round and around you go. The world is a blur of colors. You can hear the crowd screaming, "Final! Final!" And the wheel stops. Ah! The crowd gasps. What does it mean? "You win," Big Al says. "Now come this way to collect your prize and go home." Turn to page 131. Sucker! You didn't really think you could get out of this easily, did you? Check out the title of this book, Escape from the Carnival of Horrors. Horrors! You need to face a lot more horrors, and then maybe you'll escape. Quick, turn to page 116. Zap! Big Al throws a switch and the magnet shuts off. You come flying down to Earth, right where Brad and Patty are waiting. "I played your dumb game, now let us go," you tell Big Al. Big Al doesn't answer, but the crowd does. Sudden death! Sudden death! Sudden death! The crowd surges towards you. They are not friendly. They back you up against a wall. You're trapped by a mob. You reach into your pocket, hoping to find something that might help you, something to save you. If you want a can of Monster Blood, go to page 97. Oh, we have Monster Blood. Your hand clamps around the can of Monster Blood in your pocket. Quickly, you snap off the lid and the green gunk pours out. "Look, it's alive!" Brad shouts. He's right. The Monster Blood oozes from the can, quivers, and appears to stretch and pull itself apart. Then it starts to roll and bounce, making horrible sucking sounds. Great! It's rolling into the crowd, sucking up everything in its path. "Run!" Big Al screams as the huge green ball rolls over the people in the crowd, sucking them up with a loud plop. Then the Monster Blood hits the side of the tent. It changes direction. "It's coming after you!" Hurry to page 129. The Monster Blood has grown so big. Now you can't see over it or around it. "Run for your lives!" Patty screams, but reaching the door is impossible. The mound of green slime is bearing down on you fast. You stand frozen to the spot, terrified. And then, just in time, you, Patty, and Brad leap to the side, and the Monster Blood slams into the wall with a crushing force and plows right through it. You stare at the giant gaping hole in the wall. Quickly, the three of you jump through the opening. You are standing outside the main gate, where you came in. There's a wide path of destruction across the field and the forest beyond. From somewhere, a clock chimes 12 times, sending a chill down your spine. And when you peer back at the carnival, it has disappeared. All that's left is a spooky silver mist. The end. We survived again. We made it. Huh. Nice.
What happened to 132?
Let's see.
What was that?
132.
It was the number that the fortune teller was saying.
Oh, yeah. Nothing came of that.
We still never saw the fucking gator, man.
No gator. There's a lot of stuff, I think, that we didn't see, frankly.
We got the two good endings.
Are there only 2 good endings?
Yeah, there's 1 ambiguous, there's 2 good, and there's 20 bad endings.
Whoa. Interesting. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. I feel like it'd be really stupid to get all 20 bad endings.
Says the guy who did try flapping his arms.
I'm sorry that I didn't think flapping my arms was a good idea. We got a chocolate bar that we ended up not needing now. We could have used it first read through, but you know how it goes.
So there's a sequel to this.
There's a sequel?
Yeah, it's called Return to the Carnival of Horrors.
Why would you return to the Carnival of Horrors?
I don't know. I mean, we'll have to read it to find out.
All right. Fine.
Yeah, see what happens on page 132. Like, did you go to page 132?
Let's see. Let's go to 132 and see what happens there. The fortune teller said this number might save your life, but how? Then you see it, in the corner, a tall silver locker with the number 132 painted in red. In here, you say, opening the door to the locker. You push Patty and Brad inside. As soon as you close the door, the locker begins to rattle and shake. You're nearly blinded by a bright white light. You hear a loud whooshing sound, and then all is silent. The door pops open, and you're amazed at what you see. You're outside, standing in Bennett's Field, gazing at the fence that surrounds the carnival. I guess I'll have to wait until tomorrow when the carnival opens, Brad says. No way, Patty says. Let's climb the fence. What's going on here? You guessed it. The silver locker was a time machine. You've gone back in time to the first moment you spotted the carnival. Now it appears as if you have to start all over again, fighting horror after horror, right up to the end. Why can't you just say no?
Patty wouldn't let.
I like how he's so afflicted by peer pressure that even once he's experienced all these horrors and gone back in time, he still can't say no. He's still like, all right, fine. Like, damn, stick up for yourself, you. So the character's name is You. Is it the same guy as the Netflix series?
Still Goldberg.
it's that character. His name's You, right?
Yeah. You are referred to as a male twice on page 28.
Interesting, yeah.
Crazy.
That's gotta suck for
Anyone else?
anyone who's not a boy.
Oh wait, sorry. This is Return to the Carnival of History. I was reading trivia from the wrong one. So this is the only book in the Give Yourself Goosebumps series to receive a direct sequel. So there's an ending that involves the reader stuck between turning to 2 pages, unable to get out of the Hall of Mirrors.
Funny.
So it's just an endless loop.
Where's that?
Go to page 36, maybe?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, you turn back and head in the other direction. Your reflections bounce off the walls at crazy angles. Are you walking straight or have you rounded a corner? There's no way to tell. Yet this time, you're sure you're going the right way. Over here, a voice calls. Turn left again. Turn left again? Now you're really confused. If you turn left, will you finally escape? Turn to page 118. You turn left. Somewhere ahead of you, you hear laughter. Is someone there? You call out. Silence. You stare at your reflections in the mirrored hall. Am I trapped, you wonder? Am I in real danger? Or is this all a big, scary joke? Your heart begins to race. You inch forward a few more steps, moving toward the laughter, slowly. Over here, a voice calls again, but now the voice seems to be coming from behind you. Turn to page 36. You turn back and head in the other direction. Your reflections bounce off the walls at crazy angles. Wow, it goes back and forth. That's a bummer.
Chat wants you to go back to the boat and wait for help to see if it gets the alligator.
What?
No, so the alligator, it's a, let me see.
What was that?
That was page 30.
30.
Yeah, go to page 48.
Page 48. Okay. Come on, Patty cries, come on. Then without another word, she races off. You and Brad dash after her. I hope Patty knows what she's doing, you think as you try to catch up, because right now it doesn't look that way. Patty leads you through a maze of underground passageways. Then, just as you're about to yell, stop, she does, and you find yourself standing outside in front of a barbed wire fence. Up ahead, you spot an opening. Let's go in, Patty says. The three of you creep through the fence and trudge through some tall, wet grass. You gaze around. It's way too dark to see, but you can hear perfectly. And the sounds that reach your ears, make your skin crawl, slithering. You definitely hear slithering and hissing. You want to leave. You spin around, but you can't find the opening to the fence. You do see something else, a sign. There's a sign, you call out to Patty and Brad. Let's see what it says. The three of you race through the wet grass. Your socks are drenched, and your sneakers squeak as you run, but that's not the sound that's sending chills down your spine. It's the hissing. It's growing louder. I'm not sure I want to read that sign, you call out to Patty and Brad. I know what you mean, Patty shouts back. I have a feeling we're not going to like what it says. And you don't. You reach the sign and read it out loud. Reptile petting zoo. Whoever heard of a reptile petting zoo? What kind of carnival is this anyway? This carnival is evil, Brad stammers. You're about to agree when you notice the grass in front of you is swaying. Something is slithering through it, something big, and then it comes into view. Snake, Brad cries. You know you have to run, but which way, left or right? If you run left, turn to page 125. To run right, turn to page 12.
Turn right.
We will turn right. You run to the right. Follow me, you cry to Patty and Brad. You run faster than you've ever run in your life. Your sides ache, but you keep on going. When your chest feels as if it's about to burst, you finally stop and hear a crash behind you. Then at both sides of you, then in front of you, trapping you. Welcome to the Reptiles Petting Zoo, a deep voice echoes through the darkness. Reptiles Petting Zoo. You thought the sign said Reptile Petting Zoo. Our alligator has been so lonely, the deep voice continues, waiting and waiting for his new pets to arrive. And here you are. Finally. Ooh.
Okay, go to page 130.
Okay. Hold on. Page 130. You and your friends squeeze into the cannon. Ouch, you're sitting on my hand, Brad whines, but you don't have time to apologize. Do you smell something burning, you ask? Boom! There's a tremendous explosion. You fly through space. You are headed for a fence that encloses the carnival and the field beyond. Will you make it out of the park? You make it! You make it out of the park! You also make it out of the state! In fact, the last time anyone saw you, Patty and Brad, you were all a tiny blip on NASA's radar screen. Congratulations, you escaped the Carnival of Horrors. Happy landings. It launches you into space. That's so funny. Oh my god. That's the best ending. To get launched.
There's a few other insane ones. There's one where, there's a couple where you just like absolutely die. There's one.
What's the most gruesome death?
There's one where you get you get your head ripped off.
Where's that?
One sec. Go to page 79.
Go to page 79 to get your head ripped off. The doctor leans over. He's close now. His sour breath fills your nostrils. Then his fingertips brush your hand and pow! Your foot flies into his stomach. A direct hit, but nothing happens. He doesn't scream. He doesn't even moan. In fact, he doesn't seem to notice at all. He simply smiles at you. Now you're scared, really scared, but you know you have to do whatever it takes to get out of here. To get out of there, you have to find your friends and escape from the Carnival of Horrors. You gather up every ounce of courage and strength you have and kick him once more, harder, and this time something does happen. Big time. Thrump! Your foot plows into the doctor's stomach again, but this time it smashes right through it and hits solid steel. The crunch of metal echoes in the room, along with the doctor's screams. He wails like a siren. You gaze into the gaping hole your sneaker made. Thousands of circuits and wires burn and crackle inside it. The doctor is a robot. Well, an ex-robot now. Your kick totally destroyed him. That's the good news. The bad news is headed for you. It's the monster with the blue horns and red, bulging eyes. You scramble out of the net and dash towards the door, but the monster is too quick for you. His tentacle arms shoot out and snatch you. Giant suckers at the end of his wrists circle your throat. You gasp for air as the monster pins you against the wall. Can you free yourself from his oozing grasp? The red-eyed beast leans against you now, pressing you hard against the wall. The monster moves his face close to yours. The jagged horns at the top of his head nick your cheeks. You can't bear it anymore. You bring your hand up with all your might and shove his head away from yours. As you watch in horror, the monster's head rolls off its neck. The head tumbles to the floor and lands at your feet. The eyes glance up at you, and you notice his hideous lips moving. That hurt, the head says. That really hurt. He never finishes. You've destroyed another robot. Almost out of here, you whisper to yourself. Now all you have to do is slip by the crusty alligator snout creature guarding the door. You robots aren't so tough, you say to him with fake bravery. Oh, really? The scaly beast croaks. Well, maybe not, but what makes you think that I am a robot? Well, because you're talking like that. The creature slides one step toward you, and with a burning stare says, I'm not a robot. I'm not going to shut down. You don't bother with any of your silly human tricks. You stare at him. You study him hard. Is he lying? Is he a robot like the other two, or could he be a lot more dangerous? Your knees begin to tremble when you think about never going home, never seeing your family and friends again. Tears start to sting your eyes. Angry tears. No carnival, not even a carnival of horrors, is going to defeat you. You stare deeply into the evil eyes of the creature hovering before you. Robot? Real monster? You finally decide. Which should I pick? If you think the creature is a robot, try to knock his head off. If you think he's a real monster or something worse, stay cool on page 110.
What do you want to do?
Do we think he's a robot or not?
Do you want me to do the poll?
Yeah, guys, do we want to rip this robot's head off?
Guys, are we ripping the robot's head off or not? You decide.
What do you think, Shane?
I think he's not a robot. I think if you think he's a robot, we're gonna try to rip his head off, and he's gonna go, that doesn't feel so good. How does it feel if I try to do that to you? And then he rips your head off. But we're saying he's a robot, so we're gonna see.
Someone said, I don't, but I think it's funnier.
You're lying, you yell. You are a robot. You quickly reach up with both hands and tug at his head. His sharp jaws slash at you, but you're fast. You hold on firmly and pull. Oh no, he really is a monster, and he's not happy. You know you're dead meat, but you have to try one more time, just to make sure. You give his head one more tug. He laughs. Then he gives your head a tug. Sorry, you were doing so well, but now you've gone and lost your head. The only way you'll be able to face the challenge of the Carnival of Horrors now is to close the book and begin another day. At least then, you'll have a head start. Wow. I called it. I said that. Did I not say that?
Can you imagine seeing that?
Yeah. I think he's real. Something tells you that this monster is not a robot. This one is for real. Maybe it's the way he stares into your eyes, or maybe it's the rows and rows of razor-sharp teeth jutting from his mouth. You take a step back. He takes a step closer. Drop of his drool drips on your hand. It sizzles and burns. This is the end, you figure. You'll never escape the Carnival of Horrors. Never see your family or Patty or Brad again. The monster lifts his gigantic clawed hand. He waves it over your head, and you wait for the searing pain as it plunges down to strike you. But that's not what happens. The monster slowly lowers his hand and clutches at his own neck, and then pulls his own head off. And when you discover what's underneath, you know you're still in big trouble. Those eyes behind the alligator snout, those beady eyes, you should have recognized them before. It's Big Al. Hey, you did a great job here, he says warmly. You've really got the stuff for the Carnival of Horrors. Thanks, you mumble, but I really have to go home now. Hey, what's the rush, he asks, patting you on the shoulder. Aren't you having fun? Fun, you think? Crushed between solid walls, then attacked by a bulging-eyed monster. Fun? No, this isn't fun. This is weird. Yeah, it's been really great, but I really do have to get home, you stammer. So if you'll just take me to wherever Patty and Brad are and show us the way out, we'll be going. I'm afraid that isn't possible, Big Al says. Just open the door and you'll understand. I think we go back to bursting with people seem to be waiting for you. You think that's weird until you study. Yeah. Now you're at the Carnival of Horrors. And the one with a parasol whispers in your ear, don't you know the secret of the Carnival of Horrors? And you're back there. Wow.
So Big Al ripped your head off.
Big Al was gonna rip your fucking head off? That sucks. Come on, Big Al. I thought we were cool. That sucks. Fatality.
So yeah, that was the book.
So that was Escape from the Carnival of Horrors. You guys chose well. We only died many times. But we died in funny ways. We didn't get the canon ending, which is the funniest death I've ever seen. You literally Team Rocket your way out of existence. Someone says, absolutely hate Big Al's energy. I don't know. I think Big Al's okay. I think he's misunderstood. Why is Aunt Carolyn working at the Carnival of Horrors? You know, she does what she's got to do. You know, she'll work any part-time job. Guys, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing this. So, you know, let us know if you want us to read more Goosebumps books on the lives. You know, I wish I could read a choose your own adventure book while building Legos, but I am incapable of multitasking to that degree. Yeah, this was awesome. You guys are great. This was very spooky. I hope you didn't get goosebumps too bad. I hope they weren't too bad. Yeah.
Let's shout out Tommy's show.
Oh, right, guys. Tommy's live show. I've actually seen this show, and it is extremely funny. And this is going to be even crazier than when I saw it live because, they can do a lot more in a live show format through the internet. What's the date?
April 14th at 6 p.m.
April 14th at 6 p.m. is when Tommy's crazy show is going to be. I highly recommend it. He's really putting in so much work into this. He's going to go all out. It's going to be Tommy like you've never seen him before. And I would also say support it because if this gets a great turnout, I think we could do these types of shows all the time. So really, if Tommy's show does well, we're going to have more shows like it. But I also highly recommend it because it's just funny, and Tommy's super funny, and you really get to like see a side of Tommy's humor that you'll definitely recognize from Try Not to Laugh, but it's even more so, and there's aspects to his humor that you just don't get to see that you'll get to see here. But it's incredible, and I am probably going to be watching it live on the day. I think, yeah.
We should all be in the chat. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, we'll be in the chat. We'll be there.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We'll be here next week.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for watching. We'll be here next week, next Thursday. We don't know what we're doing next Thursday yet, right? No, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, but y'all are always.
But we'll figure it out.
Stuff.
Suggest what we should do next week. Let us know. Stay scary. Okay. Goodbye. I wish I had sand to throw into a fire. Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? That would be so cool.